It's intermission time. It's great to get out to the movies.
So I'm Megan Braun. I'm the host of the Synagogue podcast Intermission. I say a little formal intro now. I used to not. And today I have Mylissa, Fitzsimmons, and Fred Thomas. Do you two want to intro who you are, what you...
My name's Fred Thomas, and I'm an actor living in London.
I'm Mylissa Fitzsimmons, and I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm a writer-director.
And you two are currently promoting your project, The Long Run, right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty exciting. We'll get into it a little bit later into the episode, but that is not how you two met, right? You'd already known each other prior to this project.
Yeah, so I met Fred a couple years ago in London. I was part of a film lab, and I went there for the film lab, and I left the day the Queen died. And so when I got there, the whole kind of country was like shut down, and they were like, we're in mourning. And so the lab that I was part of was like, well, we don't really know what to do. We can't really do anything yet. We have to figure out, we have to go through this like week of mourning or whatever. And so you guys have to just stick around. And at first I was really like, I didn't pay all this money to fly here to be in Zoom classes. They gave me a list of like workshops to do. And one of those workshops was like how to be a director in one day. And I thought, I'm going to take that one. I need to learn. And I was there, and Fred was there. He came in, and
Yeah, me and my friend went along. We had like a Groupon. We had like a coupon. So like,
Cool.
So yeah, we went to this workshop day, did some classes.
Do you have interest in directing?
A little bit, yeah. But really, I think coming from like a theatre background, it was more to sort of gain a little bit of insight into sort of the film making and, the sort of London filmmaking sort of circles.
Yeah.
Yes, that was sort of what took us there that day. But yeah, that's
how you two met.
That's how we two.
Wait, what was your first impressions of each other?
Well, that's actually good. I felt like, that's a good
actually,
one. We've not talked about this, really, have we?
no.
I remember the first thing I ever said to you, actually. We were walking down the street to the pub, and
afterwards, everyone all went out to the pub together, as
as
English people do.
Yes, yes, customary. Yeah. And you took a picture of an ice cream van, and I was like, "Oh, nice picture." And you looked at me to be like, who the fuck is this guy? And I was like, "Oh shit." So that was it wasn't that bad. Nothing that bad. That was my first sort of. I knew because I remember we were sat like halfway up the room. You were sat at the back of the room, and
Scoffing at the lessons. It was one of the worst workshops I've ever taken.
No.
Yeah. It was like taught like by like an 85-year-old man.
And he did it off like a DVD and sort of had to use the remote, go to the main menu page.
That's cute.
It was good. It was
I mean, we all went to the pub after. I mean, I saw them there, and then I felt bad for them because there was like two actors in this class of people wanting to be directors. And then the guy teaching the class was kind of really insulting to them, like as if actors didn't matter. And I just remember thinking, God, what a dick. And then afterwards, when everyone went to the pub, Fred and I sat next to each other, and he looked at me and he went, can I just ask you a question? And I said, sure. And he goes, what do you think of my hat?
I wasn't wearing the hat. I pulled the hat out of a bag.
And he pulled the hat out and he put it, and he goes, I'm trying out a new personality. I don't know if I'm a hat person or not. And
what kind of hat was it?
Oh, it's
not a fedora.
It wasn't a fedora. It wasn't a full. The brim was too small to be a fedora.
It was like this cross between a fedora and like a pork pie hat.
Oh no!
And I just was like,
don't make that noise.
It was so bad, and I was like,
It wasn't so bad. I got it at a Kaylee. I was like,
what's a Kaylee?
It was like a country dancing thing, and there was a guy selling hats. So I was like, all right, I tried it. Everyone was wearing them. It was a mistake.
I mean, if you have to ask someone if they like something on you, then you already know it's not it. Because clothes can wear you. You can't let it wear... Wait. You can wear clothes. You can't let the clothes wear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say in both of those cases, that hat was wrong.
So this is a question we ask everyone on the show. If you... And I'm sure you're both going to have different answers. But if you were to pick a movie that describes your life right now, what would it be?
Very good question. Oh no, I don't know what's coming to my mind. Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. Jump in.
That's a really good question. What movie describes my life right now? Well, it's pretty chaotic right now, and I guess the first movie that just popped into my mind that was like chaotic was like Parenthood, because I just like have this like vision of the scene where they're like all crazy in this house,
Yeah.
and I feel like everyone's in my house right now, and it's like a bit chaotic.
You know what's a bummer? I still actually haven't seen the movie Parenthood. I didn't even I feel like I'm one of those people. I didn't realize even there was a movie because I was watching the show. And then I realized that they picked it up from that movie.
And Keanu Reeves is in it.
And I love him.
Who doesn't love Keanu Reeves?
Do you feel like your life is chaos right now? Or because you're the one, she's behind the scenes making this project happen.
Yeah.
You're the one starring in it. Is there a same level of stress?
No, I don't think so. I feel pretty chill about the whole thing,
I
I
bet.
must say. I must say. So I don't know what would be mine at the mo. Is there a cheese film or a
Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit? Yeah, it could be The Grand Day Out. The Grand Day Out, the first Wallace and Gromit short. They're just trying to get to the moon, aren't they? And I feel like one of the rats in the basement putting the sunglasses on and just watching that rocket take off, I guess.
Cool. I like that visual.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know.
That's like
There's
actually
no right or
that's-
wrong answer.
That's 100% pretty accurate for you. I would say
Yeah, you would.
Wallace and Gromit is pretty
if I
pretty
would-
you.
Pretty on brand.
Who would I be in this situation?
I
Shaun
mean-
the sheep.
What's that one where isn't there one like a weird like little farm pig animal or something like that? I don't
I
know.
like that you're not one of the main characters.
Yeah, quite like. Yeah, I think that's about right. I think it's about right.
Okay, so now we're going to get into our section of getting to know you two through your film taste. For those listening, you may remember Mylissa because we already had her on episode 15, so you kind of know her film taste if you're really keeping up with the show. But we're going to do it again, different questions, hopefully. First, I want to ask you two, because I'm sure you've talked about this, like in general, but where do you think is the overlap? Like if there was a Venn diagram of your movie taste, what is the overlap?
In that first meeting where we just mentioned where I got the hat out of a bag, the hat's out of the bag.
we both bonded over
We both-
Mike Lee.
Over Mike Lee and
movie.
Ken
cool.
Loach.
And Ken Loach
films.
film.
We
Yeah.
mentioned Ken Loach.
Because
Actually,
there was like a big retrospective of wasn't there like a Mike Lee
there was. Oh yeah, there was.
'Cause you-
Yes,
yeah,
there
yeah,
was.
you
There was a lot.
told-
Yeah, they were doing a big old Mike Lee.
like retrospective.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? Yeah.
And you were like, "Do you like Mike Lee?" And I was really distracted still by your hat, but I was like, absolutely. So yeah.
Ow.
So yeah, I think probably that kind of those kind of
Those kind of films.
quintessential British dudes.
And
But I think we still have pretty different tastes.
we've got quite different tastes.
Yeah, this is the kind of I guess a two-parter because now I'm curious. Where do you think that you have in the my visual of a Venn diagram the overlap we just discussed? So now your personal sides of your interest. Where do you think that you really like dig into these types of films and it's like your specialty interest that the other one probably doesn't dip a toe into whatsoever?
I mean, I know what movies I like. I liked those. I like slow burn indie type films, and I think I've probably introduced you to quite a lot of those filmmakers over the last 2 years.
Yeah, you have. You have. Yeah.
So
And I'm all about Fast and Furious franchise.
he's not joking.
Did you know that the first Fast and Furious was filmed just in my neighborhood, like right 5 minutes away?
You know what? I know where we're going after this. That's right. We're gonna have to check that out.
That's funny.
Pretty cool.
But
Well,
that's
no-
also a lie because I actually do like the Fast and Furious
And
movies.
I
They're
liked-
like guilty pleasure movies. So like that's.
I think for me, what it was like, I was on like a outdoor activities trip. I must have been, I can't remember how old I was, but it was like Fast and Furious 5 was in the cinema, and I had never seen a Fast and Furious film, and they were just sort of wanting to do something with us. So they were like, we got to put them in something.
Yeah.
And me and this group of mates that we were camping together. A lot of us hadn't really met, but spent a lot of time together before. We were watching Fast and Furious and ripping into it, and it was sort of the jokes And it was sort of the sort of the riffing between us and the jokes, and sort of probably ruining it for everybody else in the cinema at that time.
Oh, you're one of those teenage
No,
kids.
this is the one on one occasion. This was the occasion, and then we had such a good time, and it was actually that experience of watching that film that sort of bonded us as a group. That when the next one came out, that group reunited and went to see
Cute.
Fast
That's
6.
fun.
You know, and then
So really, it's
Yeah.
not that you loved the movie Fast Five. It's that you loved the experience that came
With the movie,
watching.
yeah.
So it could have been any movie, and then that.
well, I don't think it couldn't have been. No, it couldn't have been any movie. No
I mean, I
movie
did
could have done-
something-
No, it couldn't have been anyone.
I did something similar with like the latest Avatar. Like I don't really care about Avatar, but I was with like
I've
12.
never seen the Avatar movie.
You never. The first one I do like. I love like the whimsy and it feels very like childlike. But the newest one I didn't really care to see. But I was with like 12 people and I was like, well, this is really fun. I'm like, we have like a whole row of people at the theater, so I get that feeling.
Yeah, and then I did pretty much a road show with Fast and Furious 5 afterwards. I went at everyone's house and was showing them that film
Oh,
to
cute.
sort of relive that fun of what those jokes, just so we can make the same jokes again, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. So I think, and then by the time Fast 6 came out, it was just a genuine love affair by that point.
Cute. You backtracked though, right? You watched the original?
Yeah, I went
Okay.
back, yeah, but
Good,
I think
good.
Fast 5 has a very special place in my heart.
Okay, another question for you two. What film comes to mind that you think perfectly captures your personality? And like what do you think your personality is? Like what are some key characteristics?
What do I
Exactly.
think
What a fucking
his
thing.
personality is?
Sure,
Or what
you-
he
yeah,
thinks
say-
my personality is? Oh,
I don't know.
Let's switch it up here. What film do I think perfectly captures your personality? I mean, it's not a British film, but like your kind of person, like you. Now, the title's going to throw you, and I don't think that, but the character in the lead, like his personality. So, the 40-year-old virgin.
That's a great movie.
But like his character, like your face is like, ah.
No,
Like his character of like just kind of like this really, I'll go like going along for it, like how just a really nice guy, just like up for a challenge.
I like that. I like that.
no, great.
Look at you.
I like that. Did you know in that movie when he gets waxed, they actually waxed him?
Yeah.
I love that.
See, I could see you being like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, let's take the hair off my chest. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, crikey, now it's my turn. The Elephant Man, I don't know. Like, so, wait.
It's the bang.
It's the bangs. No. A joke, guys.
so
It was
funny.
a joke.
But what about the Elephant Man's personality would make you think me?
I don't know. He's optimistic.
He's very kind.
Kind, hearted,
He's
yeah.
a human being and not an animal.
Exactly. He's a human being, an animal. I don't know about that. Maybe that bit. We should backtrack on that bit.
The next one I have is what's the best use of music in a film that you can think of? Whether that's like the score or just the soundtrack that was curated for a movie. I'll give you my answer to help you brainstorm. When I wrote that question, I was thinking Harold and Maude. Like I love the Cat Stevens
yeah.
music
Which
in that
is-
film.
Planet of Idiots.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, it's such a good movie. But anyways, if you guys have a movie that comes to mind with like great music.
You know, I do actually, and because I was just talking to my son about this because he's really into like soundtracks, and
Cool.
one of the best soundtracks, and I wish I could remember who did it, and maybe you can just like figure it out. And like, Melissa, it was this. Was this the soundtrack to The Insider is so
Oh.
good. Yeah, what Russell Crowe. was
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
It's such a great soundtrack. I remember when it first came out and thinking, like, it was just like it really. I think it was like one of the first films where I really, really noticed like the soundtrack. You know,
Cool.
and I remember buying like the CD and like it would be the thing that I listened to like all the time, like when I needed just to like write or go on a hike or just drive in my car with no. It's a solid soundtrack. I highly recommend it. Every once in a while I'll go back and revisit it and be like, yeah, still good. Yeah. So the soundtrack
Cool.
to The Outsider.
The
The
Insider.
Insider, yeah. Sorry. The Outsiders is good
Outsiders.
too.
Does anything come to mind for you?
Well, just in like just recent films, the only thing that came to mind then was just the challenges.
Oh yeah,
Just
Trent
getting-
Reznor.
You know, just getting pumped up in it. You know what I mean? There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, popular. I've got a better film. The film that describes you.
Uh-oh.
Master and Commander.
Wait, which character though?
Russell Crowe.
Oh,
Russell Crowe.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
this is a solid film though.
Yeah, come on. The ship's falling apart. You're the director on the film. You're the captain of the ship. Yeah.
And a good
It's-
Russell Crowe tie-in.
a good
And
Russell-
that's when Russell Crowe is hot too. So.
it was my favorite Russell Crowe performance.
But I'm glad that you
Fine.
actually thought about it and came up with an answer. That's good.
It's a better answer than the Elephant Man.
No, that was pretty
It's
funny.
also more accurate. Yeah, but
I don't know. I kind of relate to the Elephant Man as well. So
Maybe if you were to combine the Elephant Man and Russell Crowe in a Master and Commander, that's who
that
we
works.
get.
I'm in.
There's that. But then you get the Goonies.
Then I get sloth from the
Guess
Goonies.
what from the Goonies?
Okay, Mylissa, when you came on the show, I remember talking about how like you and I both we often cry from films, right? Like
Still do.
Yeah, and so I wanted to hear what's a movie you've watched semi-recently that you cried to, and then I want to also hear if you're a film crier.
Yeah, I'm a film crier. Yeah, definitely. We spoke about one yesterday, the film that I could remember. I haven't watched it in years, but remember crying. It's The Bridge to Terabithia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I bawled.
We
Oh, yeah.
we broke down.
Like
We all
properly.
like
that movie.
that movie. I had no idea what it was about when I watched it. We watched it with our kids, and like even my husband was like, "What? I need to leave the room."
It's
and
sad.
yeah,
It's really
It-
fucking sad.
that's movie killed me. Yeah.
You know what that's making me think of is what's the movie of the girl who gets stung by a bee and dies?
My Girl
Yeah,
with
My Girl.
Macaulay Culkin
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can I tell you something? That came out my senior year of high school, and I skipped school for some reason to go to the movies, and that movie was playing, and I didn't know anything about it, and I watched it, and it was so like devastating for me that when it ended, I was in the bathroom, and I was so like heartbroken and devastated that an old lady came up to me and she was like, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" And she like sat with me as I bawled from watching My Girl.
It's a really, really good and sad and heavy movie. I thought of it just because of like the notion of like a sad children's movie,
Yeah.
like a family movie, I guess.
That movie holds up. My Girl
Yeah.
holds up.
I agree. I totally forgot that there was Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say your answer? Oh, I guess was it Bridge to Terabithia?
No,
or did you
that
say
was
more
a-
recent?
I think like the last. Well, I cry at every movie, so but the last movie that like pretty devastated me was Andrea Arnold's Bird. Like I saw it in the theater, and I think I related a little bit too much to it, but it was pretty like. I remember like when the lights went down and the credits, when the credits came on, and I was just like, what did I just watch? Like, what's happening to me right now? And then I was with a friend and being really, really quiet and just kind of hoping like, oh, I hope he doesn't want to leave right now, because I really need to sit here for a moment and like gather myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rewatched it probably about 3 weeks ago, and it had the same effect on me. I knew exactly what was happening, and like I could feel like my whole body get like warm, and then it just came, like the tears started flowing again. And I think it's a really special movie. I was actually really super bummed that it didn't get any recognition during award season. I think it's one of the best films that came out last year.
Oh, this kind of transitions perfectly to my next question: is favorite film of 2024, and then film you're most excited for in 2025.
I
I'm
have
getting my
two.
list out.
I have two films that came out in 2024 that I again, Bird is one of them, and then Small Things Like These. It's like an Irish film,
Okay.
and it's based off of one of my favorite writers, Claire Keegan. So she wrote the book, and Cillian Murphy's in it as well. And I just thought it was one of the most perfect films, and everybody I know hasn't seen it. So
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
yeah, I think it's amazing. It's the same. The same. Did you ever see The Quiet Girl, another Irish film that came out a couple of years ago? That's also based off a Claire Keegan book,
Okay.
and she's just like my favorite Irish writer. She's like one of my favorite writers,
Cool.
and they just keep making these like really beautiful, brilliant, perfect Irish films.
Huh. Oh, you've totally put me onto this. I'm going to watch
yeah,
and
it's-
maybe read.
You should read the book and watch the movie. Yeah, those two films last year just kind of changed like something in me where I was like, okay, I know how I need to proceed now as a filmmaker
Mm-hmm.
and what I will be doing next, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody I talked to was like, nope, haven't seen it. I was like, cool, I'm glad I'm on the right track with what I want to do. So, yeah, those two films. And both of them, actually, I bawled my eyes out. So, yeah. I don't know to be honest, I don't really know what's coming out. I've been kind of in a bubble the last couple months. I think Kelly Reichardt has a new movie coming in 2025. And I think, doesn't Lynn Ramsey have a new movie?
Die, My Love.
So I think those two might be the ones that I'm really looking forward to. I don't know. There's a new Marvel movie coming out, The Thunderbolts. And you know me, I'm not a Marvel person.
Yeah.
But the people behind it, like, are all filmmakers that I really, really love. And the DP is, like, one of my favorite DPs. And, like, he does so much good work. I'm like, wait, you did a Marvel movie?
How fascinating.
And it's coming out on my birthday. So I was like,
Whoa.
maybe I should go see it. But probably I won't. But I mean, yes, I will. I will totally see it. But should I just say I'm excited to see a Marvel movie?
Whatever. I don't know. I'm going to go into a section dedicated to British films. This is, I would say, a little bit more like personal preference, but like, what do you notice is the biggest difference between British cinema and American cinema?
I mean, I think that British films obviously take a little bit more risks in the types of stories that they tell. And there's a lot of kind of more promotion of those kind of not so commercial movies. I don't know, Fred. I think, like, for me personally, that's what I see. I can see a lot more variety there in their theaters. But I also, like, I don't know, because I feel like I have this, like, theory, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, when any kind of international film comes to America, we're only seeing the best of the best, right? I'm not seeing, like, France's Fast and Furious 5, right? They're only sending their best films over for us to see.
I see what you're saying.
So I don't, like, with British cinema, I feel like when I'm watching it, I'm only probably seeing the top cream of the crop stuff there. What do you think? Do you guys have, like, Beethoven 5?
Okay, I have a little game of superlatives, and I'm choosing 3 movies. Tell me if I got this right. Are these 3 movies that both of you like? Kez, Hot Fuzz, and The Trip?
Heck yeah.
Okay, cool. So I am going to do a little superlatives. I'm going to go through, and you guys have to decide, like, which of these 3 the superlative belongs to out of Kez, Hot Fuzz, and The Trip.
Okay,
All right.
go.
First, most quintessentially British.
Bing. Hot Fuzz.
Actually, I'm going to agree with that.
Okay.
I'm going to say Hot Fuzz is very
Most rewatchable.
Hot Fuzz.
Most realistic characters.
Kess.
Cute. Most quotable.
Oh, Trip.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Were you?
Yeah, The Trip.
Best cinematography.
Kess.
Yeah, I'll go with...
It's okay to disagree with me.
I like Kez a lot. I'm going to go with... Yeah, I'll go with Kez too. I'm going to go with that one.
Best film to show someone who's never seen a British movie.
Hot Fuzz.
Film you'd want to be a character in.
Hot Fuzz.
Hi, yeah. I'm actually going to say The Trip.
Oh, fair play. They do eat a lot of really good food.
Yeah. It's about food, yeah.
Best depiction of friendship.
The Trip.
What about the Kestrel?
Oh.
What about Little Billy and the Kestrel?
Oh yeah. That's a beautiful friendship.
I'm gonna go with Kes.
You got me on. Actually, I'm gonna change my answer.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. That is a
Well, we've got some
beautiful.
answers coming.
Okay.
Film that would make the worst American remake.
Kes.
Kez. Oh wait, no. I mean, I'm gonna remake it, so it's gonna be amazing.
Where would it be sad?
And the very last one I have is film you think would be the hardest to pitch to a studio today.
Kes, I'd say.
I would say, yeah, that's definitely wouldn't be a studio film.
Cool. Okay, now we're going to get into the long run. I have a little description of it here, and then we'll go through some questions, and then we'll end it with like just a miscellaneous game. Okay, so the long run. When two oddball strangers leave their lives behind to chase their Hollywood dreams, they discover that what they lack in talent, they make up for with determination and a shared delusion, leading to an unexpected friendship that will make them question the realities of chasing a dream. Does that sound about right? Did you give us that description?
I did. Yeah.
I sometimes will like get a description from the internet.
Totally claim that as your description.
We've had descriptions where the director will come on and be like, I think that was AI. Because like we'll just find it, on Google. And anyways. Okay. So this is your second feature.
It is my second feature.
Did you feel the pressure of this being your second feature?
Oh, 100%. But we talked about this last time I was on.
Yeah, I remember.
Because we talked about how like the second film.
Exactly.
And I had so much like expectation. Like I was putting that expectation upon myself that it had to succeed because I didn't want to be like the one and done female filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like, I'm just going to do it and get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get that second one out. So, but I felt, I'm feeling it now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling it right now, like the pressure right now.
I know you and I talked about the movies. I'm just pretending like I don't know anything. But what's the inspiration behind the premise of this movie?
The inspiration, well, like personally, the inspiration was, the strikes had happened. All the big strikes were going on, and a lot of friends were out of work, and we were all feeling a little bit down and a little like, what are we going to do now? Why are we doing this? Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? And we're all broke, and like we all have to be a little delusional to work in the film industry. And I just was like, I just want to make a movie with some friends and have fun. And so Fred and we had just finished a short, and Fred and I were talking about wanting to do something together again. And I said, do you want to do a feature? And he was like, yeah. But I said, I need it to be like something light and fun because, the first one was like, niche art house, slightly depressing, slow burn, the best kind of movies. And so I said, something fun like some improv, a little light drama, some comedy. And we talked a little bit on the phone, and we kind of both were like, yeah, like buddy comedy, like The Trip,
Mm-hmm.
where they're doing something, but it's a lot of banter back and forth. And so we just kind of rested on that. And I was like, okay, well, like, give me a couple weeks and I'll write a script. And a couple weeks later, I was like, okay, well, can you come in 2 weeks to make a movie? It happened very quickly. If those who know me, once I kind of make up my mind and go, okay, well, I'm not doing anything next month, so what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of figure it out.
So fun, like that type of just kind of like, let's all work together, work on a project, like figure it out. Like, I think that's a really cool mentality.
Yeah, I'd like to keep that mentality of like, I just want to make films with friends, but it is actually, it's hard to do. It's getting harder to do. And it's not just a financial thing. It's just, it's a lot that I have to take on for myself. And that just is getting a little exhausting for me. I'd like to have some partners there, producing partners, people that are there from like day one all the way up till it's coming out, and it can get pretty lonely in the post process. I think I've talked about this before. Yeah,
I think, yeah, I also just like, I've heard this from other directors on the show too, just because like directing is one of those unique things where it's an individual process. And so like actors, you have the other actors, the director, there's only really the one, unless you're a directing duo, there's the one director on the set.
Yeah. I actually, that was something that I kind of really experienced the most was on that on this film. Was like, I felt like at the end of the day, you know, like the actors were doing their thing and they could rely on each other and bond with each other. And then like, I only had a 5-person crew, and that was mainly the camera department. And they kind of had their like bond. They were all friends and worked together, and they had their thing. And then there was me. And so it became a little bit difficult for me at times. It was an incredibly hard shoot for me not to have somebody there to like bounce ideas off of, or frustrations, or like, hey, I have a problem, how I need help with a solution. Not that I couldn't have gone to like, you know, my DP, but sometimes it's like you just kind of want that other person there, so you don't have to bring any issues to your crew, because once you kind of bring an issue to the crew, it might bleed into everything, and you don't want that. So it was very lonely for me to do the movie, and because there wasn't a right hand person there for me. And so and it was a hard shoot. We had 5 people in 9 days and
a road trip.
Yeah. And so that was a pretty already like just don't crash the car, Mylissa. Don't crash the car. Everybody's in the car with you and we're driving. So yeah, stuff like that.
I wanted to ask, this character, since this is your first feature role, is this the type of character you envisioned yourself playing?
In a way, yeah. It's a fun one, this one, because as Mylissa and I were talking about it at the beginning, as you wrote, sort of elements of my natural persona were incorporated into the character. Like, so the character has a very different lived experience and sort of background to myself as an individual, but in terms of some of the character traits and things which Mylissa used and mined in the writing of it are some things which are my natural way of communicating. And so
you said something interesting.
Yeah, go on.
We just had our premiere, and you said, and I took it as a great compliment. You said, if I wasn't in this and I would have seen this movie, I would have been jealous that this actor got that part.
Oh yeah, I did say that, and it's on this note. It's the truth. Like, this is, in terms of this, like, I'm incredibly proud of this film. I really, just enough time had passed for me to watch it as an audience member.
Yeah, it's fun,
and I really enjoyed watching it. Having Don, one of the producer to my side, Matt, our gaffer, to the other, and just remembering it and actually really enjoying the film a lot.
I think what I did, especially for Fred's character, was like he's got these really great qualities of just like kind of this vulnerability and this kindness and like useless facts and love of Shakespeare. And I kind of peppered the character of Frederick with these kind of things that that I know Fred, the person, to have. And I think he was able to kind of put those into the character and embellish them a little bit more and still make the character different enough from who he is.
Yeah.
Because he is not that person. And I think it might be a challenge for some people who know Fred, who to watch it and like be like, yeah, well, that's just Fred. But it's not. There's an essence there.
I think there's definitely an essence.
I've infused him like vodka.
I was actually thinking. I don't know if I said this. I might have said this to you in the car. Actually, I think the person who I think could be confused by it is actually my sister. Like where it's sort of like, sorry, Gwen, if you listen back to this, just because it's sort of like, yeah, that is me. But then there's so many elements which are not, because she obviously has the same the same history as I do, obviously different, in terms of life, parents, location, and all that. She's the one that knows what all of that sort of backstory is. To then see me acting similar to myself, but with a completely different backstory, I can see that would be a confusing thing from her perspective.
Totally.
I think siblings are hard because I know, like, there's siblings in this movie. There's two sisters and they don't quite get along, and one's older. And I know I have an older sister, and we've not always got along. I love her very much. She's really great. She's wonderful. She's listening. But older sisters, like, they take care of their younger sisters, and that truth is in the film. But that scene between the sisters is not me and my sister. But I mean, I imagine, like, my older sister's going to go, well, wait, is that what you think of me? Or is that how you feel our relationship is? And it's not. The only thing that's essence of truth in that relationship is any older sibling always feels like they take care of their younger sibling. And that's kind of really it. And so I think, like, siblings are going to always look at your movies and be like, that's about me. No, that's about an 80-year-old man dying, It's like,
Something I wanted to ask you that we kind of touched on a bit, but just the process of indie filmmaking. Do you have advice now, like having 2 features out? And I know that this one so much like went on during the process. So just advice to other indie filmmakers, I guess, who don't have the budget to make their film, or just general advice?
I mean, I probably have, like, the same advice like every other indie filmmaker is out there saying. It's just like, do the work, and it's hard, and all those things that people say, it's true. It's, there's reason why cliches are true, because they are. I think just, like, my only advice that I can really say doesn't really have anything to do with filmmaking itself, and that is, like, you're always going to feel like you're behind of what your peers are doing, or you're not doing things right. Like, I always feel like, what am I doing wrong? How come that person who started at the same time as me is, like, at this level and I'm still at this level? And I think there is this kind of weird, like, not competition, but, like, why not me feeling that goes on. And I think my only advice is just to, like, realize, like, that's their journey and not your journey. And your journey is going to be different from them. And, for every person I think, like, oh, why not me? There's probably somebody looking at me going, why not me? Whenever.
Totally.
And I just think, like, once you kind of disassociate from that sort of thinking of, like, why am I not succeeding as much as everybody else around me, then you'll start to actually really enjoy making movies. Because once that kind of seeps into you, you kind of stop enjoying what you're doing, and it's not fun to make movies if you're feeling like you always have to, one up the next person or catch up to the next person, or like imposter syndrome, or like I have to be. Fred and I talked about this the other day. There's like filmmakers that on the indie scene, and it's like, I never feel like I'm cool like they are. Like, I'm not cool. Like, and so it's like, why? When can I be part of the cool crowd? And then I just have to go, well, I'm not. So I'm just going to, like, form my own crowd. So I think once kind of that thinking goes away, like, you kind of start to enjoy what you're doing. And I don't know, I guess that's my advice, is, like, just, you got to forget about that
Put
person.
some blinders on.
Yeah, forget about the person that's in front of you, or, next to you, or in back of you, and just kind of focus on the people that, this is going to sound really cheesy,
That's okay to be cheesy.
that are, like, embracing you for who you, like, what you're doing at that moment. Like, just, that makes sense?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect sense, yeah.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
hydrate. Like, just hydrate.
Totally
Like,
hydrate.
so much hydration. That's my advice.
Okay, this one's fun because it can come from either perspective, acting or directing. What's a tiny detail in the film that you hope the audience notices?
I don't want to say because I
Yeah, it's a
want
good-
to see if people are going to notice.
That's a good
Maybe
question.
the tiny details I don't really want to say, but there is like film things in general. Like, I know I set out to kind of have like the mimic of the landscape mimic the journey for the characters emotionally. I don't know if I pulled it off, but it's this idea that they're these small fish in very large ponds.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever they were out in the real world, we tried to shoot as much as we could, like as wide as we could, so that they would feel like the world was like swallowing them up.
Mm-hmm.
But as they got closer and closer to LA, to their dream, the world kind of just got smaller and smaller for them. Kind of like a reverse, because you would think that maybe I messed it up. I don't know. Maybe I should have done it the other way. But there are some smaller things. Oh, you know what? I know. This is no one's ever going to get this, so I'm going to say. So the title of the film is The Long Run, after an Eagles song, and the Eagles are like one of my favorite bands, and everyone thinks that I'm weird, but we already have established that I'm weird. So I took the title of a bunch of Eagles songs and incorporated into the dialogue throughout the
that's
whole
fun.
entire movie.
That's a great answer.
So it's more like Easter eggs and tiny
Yeah.
details. So I would be surprised if somebody eventually is like, here are the 10 songs. So no one knows that except for me. It was like my little joke. But now whoever's listening to this podcast,
I like that a lot. This game is called Nightmare Road Trip, and I'm going to say 2 movie characters, and you have to pick which character you'd rather be stuck with on a road trip. Okay, so the first, and you're picking who you want to be on the Nightmare Road Trip with. First, we have Travis Bickle or Billy Brown, Vincent Gallo from Buffalo 66.
I think I'd probably pick Billy Brown. He might be easier to tune out than Travis Bickle, and then I also feel like he might be slightly easier to like maybe to control. Like, I could just kind of easily distract him and have him talk about something else.
Eraserhead Baby or the kid in Babadook?
I'm going for the Eraserhead Baby.
The kid in the Babadook is the worst child in the whole world. I think he's so annoying.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I'm going for the Eraserhead Baby.
To be contrarian, I'll go for the other one.
The Babadook
The
child
Babadook.
is like, I think if you want to like convince yourself not to be a mother.
Oh, yeah. The best birth control.
Yeah. Okay. Frank Booth from Blue Velvet or John Doe from Seven, Kevin Spacey's character.
I'm going with Frank Booth. And then he can just like sing to me the candy colored cloud they call the Sandman.
That was nice.
I'll
Right?
second that.
Okay. Mark Zuckerberg from The Social Network or Connie from Good Time, which is Robert Pattinson's
I'm going with
character.
Connie from Good Time.
Little Robert Pattinson hang.
I like a little hectic road trip.
Also, Mark Zuckerberg is just so chatty. He'd just like, I feel like he would talk your ear off.
You think Mark Zuckerberg is chatty?
Like, I don't know if chatty's the word, but what's the name of the actor that plays him in this? Jesse Eisenberg. Like, I think really has like his innate, kind of like what you were saying about like your personality shown through your character. Like that role, he's just so, it's like nervous tick-tocking, and he's totally
I also
Mark.
just think Mark Zuckerberg would bore the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And we would probably absolutely fight a lot.
I could see that.
I would more than likely what would happen is like we would pull over to get gas and he'd be like, hey, I'm going to run and go to the bathroom. And then I would just leave him there.
That's funny.
I probably would.
My question for this one would be like, who's driving? Because if if Mark Zuckerberg's driving, I'll be all right.
Did you just sleep?
I'd just sleep through it. But,
Yeah.
If Connie was driving, I'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah, it'd be like
I still think like Connie would be like such a great adventure. Like
it'd
that
be
would
very
like,
heist, like driving really quickly type
Yeah.
of scenario. Like he would probably do like
listening to like Metallica or EDM music. I don't know.
Okay, my last one is Scott Pilgrim or Seth from Superbad, Jonah Hill's character.
I'm going for Scott Pilgrim.
I'm going for Scott Pilgrim.
I
too,
love
yes.
that guy.
Great
I'm going
guy.
for Scott Pilgrim. He'd probably moan about Ramona the whole time, but like, he's super awesome.
Yeah, because both him and Jonah Hill are both kind of like complainer characters.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I would prefer Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, same.
I love that movie so much.
So do I.
To close this out, if you, for the listener, could just share a little bit about like where the listener can see your film and a little more insight into the film, and then we'll leave it at that.
I think like probably the best thing is like people could probably follow us on
Yeah,
social media, like follow me or Fred on social media. Then they'll know where the film is playing. I mean, ideally what I want to do though this summer is I want to take the film on tour. But in order to do that, what I'm asking is that people host us in their homes.
I love this.
So we would provide like the projection and the popcorn and the movie, and every once in a while actors would fly in for a Q&A, and like how like when bands are hosted in homes, like I want to do that for movies. Like, I want to travel around this summer with the film and do pop-up screenings basically, and then during those pop-up screenings, like in a small town, someone's like, hey, I've invited 20 people over to my house and we want you to screen the movie in our backyard. And I would be like, heck yeah, that's like my dream to do something like that. So that's what I'm kind of working on. So if anyone wants to host us in their backyard this summer or this fall or whatever, just like hit me up. Other than that, like social media is my Instagram's probably the best way to find out when we're screening next. And I hope people see it. It was a real like labor of love. Doing micro budget is hard, making a movie for $50,000 or less seems like a lot of money, but it actually goes really fast. And 5 people and on a road trip for 7 days. I mean, we got locked in an elevator one night for like an hour. We lost a day of footage with a corrupt card. We had a death. We were in the middle of summer, so it was like 115 degrees in the middle of the desert on some days. So yeah, it was a lot.
I remember when you told me all this for the first time, and I was like, that's like a movie in itself. Is the behind the scenes of this whole
so
thing.
much was going on there.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of the movie, and I'm proud of everyone who worked on it. And like, it's Fred's first feature. It's only his second film.
You did a great job, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I saw it. I don't know, a while ago, but you did great.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And so I kind of hope that people see it. I think him and the lead actress Nicole did a really great job, and they kind of nailed it. And then like all the supporting actors, of course. But like, I think for what we did, for how little we did and how fast we did it, I think it's a fun film. I hope people will like it. If not, I'm syou they'll tell me.
They always
they'll
do.
tell me. I'm sure those letterbox reviews will let me know.
Oh, do you want to just say vocalize your Instagram handles, and then we'll close out?
Yeah, so mine is at Fred B. Thomas, FredBThomas.
B as in bad boy for life.
B as in Brent.
That is his middle name.
Yeah.
Mylissa Fitz, Mylissa Fitz, Fitz. That's my Instagram handle. I'm not on any other social media. I might have like accounts on Blue Sky and Threads, but I'm not on there.
Okay.
It's a lot to do.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on. I had so much fun chatting. I hope you did too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always.
Okay, bye. Now it's time
Thank
to get
you,
lost.
Olivia.
Good evening.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. To stay in touch, follow our Instagram page at It's Intermission Time and share with your friends. As always, Intermission is produced by Jazeel Chu and Olivia Deaton, and of course, hosted by yours truly, Megan Braun. This episode is brought to you by The Synagogue.